This is Dr. J. Welcome to Thesising 101, where you want to strangle those who ask how your thesis is going. If you are new to my channel, thank you for clicking on my, dare I say, iconic, or at the very least familiar, blue avatar. And for all my returning subscribers and viewers, thank you for joining us. As you know, in the series, we cover tips and tricks to help you in your research journey. If you're interested and would like to see more videos like this, please give this a thumbs up. Also, I create content based on the topics you suggest, so feel free to leave your request in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and share this with any person you feel will benefit from this channel, even if they are not doing research. Today's focus is on references. How can we do it quickly and dirty and just, not spend a lot of brain cells on it? A special thanks to Justin and Neil for inspiring this topic. Let's get right into it. In the first tutorial, we noted that referencing is a lot more than just a chore that we need to do to show that we are not plagiarizing. In the second, we explored different ways of how to find references, especially when you are broke. In this tutorial, I will show you how to semi-automate your referencing. I will cover both in-text referencing and doing a reference list. To semi-automate referencing, we need a referencing tool. I like to use Mendeley, but you can use whatever tool you like. Just make sure the tool has a Word plugin. On the plugin, ensure that you select the correct referencing style. In my department, we use the APA style, but you can set it to whatever suits your needs. Step 1. Add referencing material to the tool. There are a couple of things that we need to do when we add documents to our tool. Click on File, Add Files, navigate to where you saved your paper. Create a centralized folder for all your material to minimize having to navigate to different locations. Select the paper, click Open, and your file should be loaded. Mendeley will parse the file as you are loading it to auto-complete as many fields as it possibly can. I always make sure that the data is correct because parsing may not always work. On the right-hand side, you can see that the fields have been pre-populated. You have the name, the authors, the journal, the year of publication, volume, issue pages. You even have some keywords. So as I mentioned before, the parsing doesn't always work. So let's look at an example. In this case, we would have to add the details manually. While there are many fields that you can complete, don't waste your time trying to. Only complete the title, authors, year of publication, and the publication itself. Well, also include the type of publication it is. For the authors, make sure that you press Enter after inserting the author name so that the tool can put it in the right format. These fields we refer to as reference data. No pun intended. It is imperative that you ensure that the authors and the year of publication is correct, else you will have errors in your in-text referencing. As you can see, to add a paper that you have downloaded is easy. But what do you do when you have a hard copy paper or a book that you would like to reference using the tool? Let me show you a quick hack. Open a Word doc, add the name of the book or whatever it is and the author. Don't forget the year of publication. If you found the book online, you can also grab the URL and paste that into your Word document. Essentially, you can add any detail that you wish to. Don't forget to save it as a PDF. It will just make it so much easier. And just put it in that special folder that you created for all your articles and books. Now that your fake document is loaded as a PDF somewhere, you can just add it to the tool as per normal. As you can see, this one doesn't have any references either, so we need to add it manually. The aim is to load your references, whether it is an actual reference or representation of a reference. Step 2. Write and add your in-text referencing. In your thesis, dissertation, or paper, make a statement or claim and add the authors whose work inspired you to make this claim. For instance, while the case study approach is now thought of as a legitimate method of inquiry, it is still criticized in some aspects. One of the biggest criticisms is the issue of generalization. To add the referencing, I go to References, Click on Insert Citation and add the authors. You can add one or multiple references. A side note, if you are continuously adding only one reference in your in-text referencing, you may be running the risk of summarizing and not synthesizing. Check out my tutorial on the difference and why we as researchers aim to synthesize and not summarize. Back to the task at hand. Since we're using the tool specifically designed to make our lives easier, you can literally search for a paper or an author and the tool will narrow down your options. In our case, we're looking for Yin 2003 and Dubois 2002. The tool will automatically arrange the authors in the correct order. Under no circumstances do you manually edit the in-text referencing. To prevent referencing errors, use the tool's pop-up to make any adjustments. For instance, we would like to add Flyvberg 2006 to the existing in-text referencing. So we click on the in-text referencing, edit citation, add Flyvberg 2006, and the tool will do the work for you. The previous example was looking at one way of doing in-text referencing. There are a few others. Let's look at when you mention the author directly, for instance. To address this bias, the researcher followed the guidelines from Yin 2003 and Ben-Bassat 1987 to meticulously document processes and procedures applied throughout the study. For that type of in-text referencing, you don't need to use the tool. However, at the end of it all, we would like to create an automated reference list using the tool. In these instances, we need to add it somehow. Let's take a look. As you can see, we have used Yin 2003 through the tool, but Ben-Bassat we have not. In those instances, just go down to your referencing list, right underneath it, add the reference as per normal, Ben-Bassat 1987, highlight it, make it as tiny as possible, make it white, and there you have it. This way the reader doesn't see this random reference, but the tool will recognize it. So essentially, when you run your reference list, the tool will pick that up and add it where it's supposed to be. Before we continue, I just want to make sure that you understand that using a referencing tool does not absolve you from checking if your references are up to standard. The tool will only make this exercise easier and more manageable. In the previous example, I showed you how the tool rearranged the authors, while it also does some other formatting that can be quite painful to do manually. For instance, multiple author in in-text referencing. Here's an example. Traditionally, IT strategy is directed by business strategy as it is viewed as a functional level strategy subordinate to business strategy. Now, of course, we add our references. Since this is the first time we are referencing this paper, the tool will list all the authors. But if we reference the author again later on in the document, the tool will automatically shorten the reference based on the rules of the style you selected. For example, this is in contrast to the DBS approach, which supposes that business strategy and IT strategy become one entity. We will now add the same paper. The tool has done the work for you again. It even works if you switch the positioning of the references around. The tool will automatically reformat the in-text referencing based on the rules. You don't have to keep track of the updates you are making of where you are placing these references like I did in this example. I only did it for demonstration purposes. Whenever you add a new reference, the tool will automatically adjust the entire document, so you have no need to check if you have used the reference before. I just want to point out that there are times when there are so many authors on one paper that the tool will automatically just shorten it to the first author and et al. The rest. For instance, in the case of IT alignment under the theme of DBS, organizations make use of a technologically enabled omnichannel. This is the first time that we will be referencing this paper, and already the tool has shortened it. If we look at our source, we can see that there are more than 3 authors, hence the shortening. Something else the tool will do for you is organize authors that have multiple papers published in the same year. Here is an example. A digital native is a native speaker of the digital language of computers, video games, and the internet. Prensky, 2001. The focus of support for this possibility of parallel thought processing is underpinned by neuroplasticity. Also, Prensky 2001, but a different paper. Since these are different papers published in the same year, the referencing tool will automatically differentiate between the papers as 2001A and 2001B. Something else the tool will do is to arrange the same author with published papers in different years in the same Intext referencing, for instance. A DBS is concerned with understanding how business can leverage digital resources. Mythos 2012, 2010, and 2013. Done. Let's move on to Intext referencing as direct quotes. In the previous example, we had some direct quotes. Let's just go and fix that referencing, shall we? Prensky 2001A. Click on the reference, edit citation, backspace a few times, add the page number. Done. Another side note, you want to use as little direct quotes in your deliverable as possible. Overusing direct quotes is a form of plagiarism, but that's a tutorial for a different day. Let's move on to the final step. Step 3. Creating a reference list. By the way, a reference list and a bibliography, not the same thing. A reference list is a detailed list of references that are cited in your work, as in all your in-text referencing. A bibliography is all your in-text referencing plus any other material that you have read but have not actually cited. We are going to create a reference list. Navigate to your reference list and click on Insert Bibliography. Remember when I said you don't have to complete all the fields in your referencing tool? Well, this is why. The point of the tool is to make referencing faster, so you don't spend valuable brain cells on a task a brick can do. To manually enter every single reference data that is required by the tool to create a perfect reference list is going to take you days. Trust me, I've tried, and it doesn't matter how much time you spend on editing the reference data, the reference list will still be incorrect. These tools are great for in-text referencing, but reference lists, not so much. Now, it's been a minute since I've taken the time to test new tools in the market, so there may be a more intelligent piece of technology out there that auto-creates a reference list with 0 errors. But if it doesn't exist, this is what you can do. Copy the reference, go to Google Scholar, paste, click on Search, and then there will be quotation marks. Click on it, copy the reference that you need, and replace the one that you have. Is Google 100% correct? You may have to add details here and there, but this will save you a lot of time. One of these details would be Google doesn't always add a DOI. You may ask, if I'm copying and pasting over the generated reference list, what was the point? Well, the point is that the tool will use your entire document, pick up every single in-text reference you made, even that guy Ben Bassat that was hidden from plain view, and it will place it in alphabetical order. Imagine you wrote an 80,000 word thesis. It will take you a week to generate a reference list manually, and this tool took about 10 seconds. Continue the copying and pasting for all your references and you will be done in no time. That concludes the series on references. Thank you for watching. This is Dr. J, signing off.